Story 1. AITA, for making my daughter pay for her own college testing and applications because she was caught cheating. I received a call to pick up my daughter Lily because she had been caught cheating on her practice SAT. After arriving, I learned Lily's friend Sam had also been caught cheating. Her score was canceled, but thankfully, Lily will still be allowed to retake the test, and this has not gone under any kind of record. When I talked to Lily about what happened, she told me that Sam's mother was going to punish Sam if she didn't earn an exceptionally high score. And Sam had, in turn, put pressure on my daughter to help her cheat. I have felt for a long time that Sam is not a genuine friend to Lily, and has been trying to hold my daughter back to feel better about her own poor choices. And I had spoken to Lily about this before, and to not let Sam manipulate her into anything she knows is wrong. Lily told me that she had understood, yet did this. I told Lily that to prove she will take her education seriously from now on, she will need to come up with the fee for her future tests and college applications on her own. I suggested she start working odd jobs, such as babysitting or dog walking for the neighbors, to save up early. Despite telling me she understood, the time to register for the next test is approaching, and my daughter asked me to pay because she is short on cash and her school will not offer the test again until spring. She brought up the original excuse that Sam pressured her into cheating. I told my daughter no, I am not going back on my word, and she will learn to treat these opportunities with respect once she has to earn it herself. I also told Lily that she needs to stop letting Sam manipulate her, and if she can't stand up to her, then maybe she doesn't have the mental maturity for college. Our extended family became involved in the disagreement and are insisting that we cover the fee because it's for her education and is important for college. I am not allowing them to cover the fee for Lily because it's undermining my lesson. Inevitably, someone pretending to be her friend is going to pressure her to cheat again in college. Then when she gets caught again, I will wind up losing thousands of dollars, and Lily will lose her shot at a good education. Her college journey won't last long regardless, unless she learns responsibility now. Even though she spent her money poorly and doesn't have enough now, she will be able to wait and test in spring, even if it's a less convenient time for her. AITA, for putting my foot down with Lily and our family. Edited to answer comments. Lily is now a junior in high school. Taking the test in spring will not delay Lily's college applications. If she takes the test in spring, or even decides to retry during the summer, her score will still be available for her to use by the time fall applications roll around. Lily had and still has ample time and opportunity to save up. If she spends her money wisely this time, she will have more than enough to cover the fees, especially as these are the only expenses she will need to cover.
In my view, she is not an asshole. What do you think? Comment below.
Story 2. AITA for refusing to pay alimony to my cheating ex-wife. I met my wife in my early 30s. She was in her mid-20s at the time. I was already well established and had made a significant amount of money working as a quant and investing my savings diligently. She, on the other hand, had never gone to college and was content working for basically minimum wage, so when I meet her, we click instantly, and I fall head over heels for her. We get married and move in together, and soon after have 3 kids. When we were expecting our firstborn, she had told me she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Obviously, I was jealous, but I went along with it since it seemed logical. So she spends the next 20-plus years as a stay-at-home mom taking care of our kids while I work 12-hour days and then some. I'm not demeaning stay-at-home moms, by the way, but in the context of our marriage, she had an extremely easygoing lifestyle. A couple years ago, I discovered she had been cheating on me with her friend's husband. Divorced obviously followed. The only major asset we had in the U.S. was our house, which was a premarital asset. We had a shared bank account, but since I am a finance guy, I handled all our investments, and for tax reasons, invested it abroad in my home country. Now, if we had just grown apart, or she said she was unhappy, I'd have no problem paying what's fair. But the fact she cheated on me is what makes me resent paying her a cent. So in the divorce, she is awarded half of our investments made during marriage, 90% of which are abroad in my name, along with alimony for 20 years for 30% of my pay. So here I am, given an opportunity to get out of this entirely by moving back to my home country and never looking back. So I sell our house as fast as possible, move the money abroad, and move back to my home country while stringing her along about why it's taking so long to liquidate our savings. Once abroad, I immediately stop alimony payments. Now she has no legal recourse, I've double-checked with lawyers, and is left with her share of the small amount we had in the States. The reason I'm asking here is that my own children are split on this. My son is on my side 100%, while my daughters are 90% on their mother's side. I figured it would be interesting to see the opinions of people here.
Personally, I think that he is an asshole. What do you think? Comment below.
Story 3. AITA for getting drunk and cheating on my husband after 6 years. Hi. So, me and my husband have been married for 6 years, 2 years after dating. I made a mistake last Friday and I need some help. Greg is a good guy, but he can be a little frustrating, and that morning he was complaining that he had work all day and that he wouldn't be able to unwind at home. I told him it's going to be fine, but he didn't reply. Maybe he didn't hear me, but he didn't even ask what I was saying. He kept going on, and then started complaining about our bank account. Last Friday, me and some friends went out for a drink since one of them is getting married and we wanted to give her a night to remember. My husband was okay with me having some time for myself. After a couple of drinks, a group of guys get close and begins to talk to us. One, let's call him James, sits next to me and he begins talking about his job. He's the director of a small company, and he talks with such ambition that it makes me more interested in what he's saying. The night goes on, and I've been drinking quite a bit. I can't really remember much, but I remember hooking up with James. The next morning, my phone is ringing like crazy. I go check it, and I have a couple lost calls from my husband. When I pick it up, I just tell him I stay at my friend's place and that my phone had run out of battery. He seems to understand and asks me if I'm going home anytime soon. I say yes. Then James wakes up, and when I ask him about last night, he just said I insisted in not using protection. I rush back to my place, trying to leave this one-night stand behind me, but I can't forget this guy. Maybe I felt in love with him, the way he talks, and he being a young man that has control over his life. I remember feeling the same way about my husband before we married, but now he has mostly giving up in life, constantly working and with no ambition. His dream seems to have faded away, and now he spends most of the time working instead. When he arrives home, he ignores me most of the time, and just spends his free time watching sports or playing video games like a child, with eating habits to match. Also, his sexual appetite seems to have been through the floor. I tell him it's okay if he can't perform and that I don't blame him, and I really don't. I try to be supportive the most I can, but sometimes that gets to me. Is there any way I can save my marriage? So basically, me and Greg has an awesome weekend. We got to spend our time together, and he actually managed to make me feel loved and wanted. He even took some time off work to send me messages to plan our Valentine's date. Spoiler. It was awesome. He was so tired he feels asleep like a rock. It had been something I gave up on because he never appreciated my own efforts. However, before I go on, I need to say that something significant occurred. Last night, when Greg wasn't there, I took a pregnancy test, and it came up positive. At first I was panicking, and even right now a ton of thoughts are going through my head, like how I hope the baby is James. But if it's my husband, I'll still keep the pregnancy. I wouldn't just abort the child. And that I hope the baby's future parents and later husband-wife supports it in the same way my husband and I support each other. That aside, on Monday night after we had sex, I asked him how does he feel about our sex life. He said he couldn't be happier. I was surprised, and I told him I feel like we hit a wall. I told him I'm sorry, but I just feel like I'm not enjoying it as much as I could, and I'd personally love to try new things, because clearly he wasn't in the mood very often, and it made me feel unsexy. After a dramatic talk with him telling me how this wasn't something he can control, and that he felt attacked, I got him to accept opening our relationship at least once. And that for my birthday, in 2 weeks, we get a new guy into our bed. I said that it would be a perfect gift for me and that if he cared about my happiness, he would accept it, like I accepted his playing his video games every night. Of course, he will have to deal with jealousy, but that if he loves me, he will understand and come to like it. I plan to put an ad on Craigslist. The rules are simple. He has to be okay with my husband watching, get a STD test, and look good. But after yesterday, I feel like I have a new problem. What should I do with the pregnancy? How do I proceed with this part?
I do think she is an asshole. What do you think? Comment below.
Story 4. AITA for telling my stepmom she can't blame me for my dad cheating. My 20F dad, 45M, married my stepmom, 42F, about 3 years ago. A few months ago, my dad started acting weird. He was on his phone a lot, sneaking out late at night and lying about where he was. One night, about 3 months ago, I overheard him on the phone saying some pretty explicit things to someone who was definitely not my stepmom. After a few days of agonizing over it, I decided to confront him. He admitted he was cheating on my stepmom and begged me not to tell her. He said he'd end the affair and work on his marriage. I believed him and kept quiet, hoping he'd actually follow through. Well, fast forward a month, and my stepmom finds out anyway. She is staying with my dad, so things are good on that end, but somehow she is absolutely livid with me, saying I betrayed her trust by not telling her. She keeps telling me I'm just as guilty as he is for not coming to her right away. Since then, my stepmom has been giving me the cold shoulder, and when she does talk to me, it's just to yell or blame me for everything. It's gotten to the point where I dread being at home. My dad's trying to smooth things over, but he's not doing a great job. He keeps telling me to just stay out of it and give my stepmom time to cool off and try to avoid her as much as possible. A few nights ago, after yet another heated argument with my stepmom, I finally snapped and basically told her to stop blaming me for my dad's mistakes. I didn't cheat on her, and I'm not the one who lied, so she needs to get off my back. She looked shocked and hurt, but I felt it needed to be said. I feel awful about the whole thing and really wish I'd handled it differently. Maybe I should have told her at the start.
I feel she's not an asshole. What do you think? Comment below.
Story 5. AITA for being okay with cheating unless it's my own relationship? I'll make this short and sweet. I'm dating somebody now and I would never cheat on them. And I'd expect them to never cheat on me too. We got in an argument earlier because I admitted that before I met him, I didn't see a problem with me being the other woman, because quite frankly, they weren't my relationships. And if somebody expressed interest in me, I felt like it was okay because I'm not cheating on breaking trust with a partner. I'm just living out a fantasy or kink, along with the man I'm sleeping with who is as well. My boyfriend's point of view is that cheating in any form by all parties is wrong, and he doesn't know if he can trust that I won't cheat on him because I've openly admitted to being the other woman. My point of view is that I love him, and I would never want to hurt him in that way, and it wasn't my fault that the men in other relationships lied to their partners, and it's not my fault that they wanted to do those things with me. I will admit that it can be morally questionable to be a homewrecker, but I feel like the blame should be on the person actually in the relationship, not the person who was chosen. So Reddit, AIT for being okay with other people's cheating?
In my opinion, she is an asshole. What do you think? Comment below. Subscribe for more interesting stories.